La 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 la.
Oh, welcome to the Hallmark After Show 2020 podcast.
Hi, everybody! Woo! We're here. We're excited.
Oh, it's just I'm still hungover on joy from the weekend, dear.
So
I
much
am
joy.
I am your co-host, Will Carey. Joining me is my co-host and wife, Chelsea Connor, and oh boy,
Oh,
what a time!
What a time!
What a time it's
This
been.
weekend, folks, we had the premiere of the infamous Hallmark USO partnership movie film.
Oh, this was a partnership with the USO. I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Because we're like super do-gooders at Hallmark.
Right. Well, you want to support the troops in any way you can, and our movie for the episode today deals very heavily with military as well, because the cast plays in heavily with the U.S. military. It plays into the plot.
Yeah, I mean, it takes place on a military base. I think that's what you were trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. So
we got there though.
Yeah, so our movie today, something popped up on my computer, but the movie we're talking today is, and I love the title. I think this is like the number one title of all the movies.
Yeah,
so far.
it's definitely the most like what?
Yes, we are talking about "Never Kiss a Man in a Christmas Sweater," which sounds like a country song that
never kiss a man
your grandpappy
in a Christmas sweater.
Yeah, like it's a song that like your grandpappy
They
would have
don't
sang.
love Jesus like you should. I don't know. And then it keeps going.
Gets real like Christian Rocky there towards the end.
Totally.
Yeah. But I found really interesting fact. This movie directed by the director of Jingle Bell Bride.
Which is probably why I liked it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
pretty good.
It's it's
a solid movie.
Yeah. It's a class. He's got that classic Hallmark touch. What I was most excited about.
I was gonna say, are you gonna read us the plot? Because I know how much you love to read the plot to our viewers.
Well,
our listeners.
Well, you worked in TV. I understand. The plot of Never Kiss a Man in a Christmas Sweater. Maggie is facing Christmas alone. Oh no! Until Lucas becomes an unexpected house guest. Now Maggie is played by an actress named Ashley Williams, who I recognized from my favorite part.
Your mother.
My favorite, one of my favorite arcs of Ted Mosby's search for love.
He should have married her, folks.
I agree.
And the series should have ended. It would have been amazing.
So what was her character's name? I just know her as the woman who owned a bakery.
Yeah, that's what I know her as too. I want to say like Valerie or something with a V.
I actually think that's it. It was from like pretty early on in the show.
Yeah,
and like she's our main our lead here.
Yeah, and her like tap out in that series is that she was moving to Germany to go bake. Which I don't know about you folks. I didn't know Germany was so prolific for its baking.
Well, it's the German chocolate. It has all of the chocolate there. But it's also interesting because lots of the characters in the show are kids. She plays a school teacher who teaches the kids on this military base.
Yeah,
and
she's
lots of them are
charming,
stationed in Germany.
And I love her, and she's amazing. And she falls into a guy in a Christmas sweater early on who's matched. We don't know that this is his nephew yet. She thinks he's his son, but is matching to his nephew in these ugly Christmas sweaters, which actually weren't that ugly. It was just like him as an elf.
Yeah, well, the way this is, and our lead, our co-star, our lead actor, interestingly enough, is played Lucas Cavelli, is played by an actor who in some of his filmography, he was in the recent Predator remake, which I find really interesting. You go from like blood and guts and like stabbing and chopping to
Hallmark,
to family entertainment.
It's a wide range there, folks.
Yeah.
But
so this is the man in the Christmas sweater.
Yes, so she falls into him. They have like a bit of a meet cute moment, and you think, oh well, this will be where we like go from here. But no, Hallmark doesn't want you to just have this one meet cute. They want you to have a calamity.
Yeah, you have and then you have the calamity meet cute, because they first meet when he's like taking care of a little kid who falls on the playground and he's wearing the Christmas sweater, which I think honestly, as far as like cheesy Christmas sweaters, like the
Not so bad.
elf body leading up to your head so
Yeah.
that you're the elf, pretty classic. I feel like pretty on point.
Yeah,
But
I've
then
seen
we
some
have,
real hideous ones.
yeah, but then we have the Calamity meet cute,
Yeah.
and then things continue.
So, well, yeah. So we, then we depart to some scene setting where she's working at the USO, not the USO. She's working at the military base to help them with some sort of holiday festival party, as is wont to had at Hallmark. And she gets there with her daughter. And her daughter goes off to help with the little kids with decorations, and her friend who's there like running the volunteer operation says, well, we really need the guys to help us with a Christmas tree. And she's like, no, I'm a feminist, I'll go get it. So she borrows her friend's truck to go to the tree lot, and at the tree lot she declines the help of the tree helpers, which
Just lugging it by herself.
feminism. And
Leaning
as
in,
she's
leaning in.
coming out of the tree lot, she like practically murders this guy
because he's jogging
He's
at the same time that she walks onto the jogging path with her tree, and he basically gets clotheslined by a Douglas fir.
But I don't really know how that happens. But we're going to suspend disbelief as we do with Hallmark. And she hits him really hard.
Well, how does
It's
it
the
happen?
guy-
He's running and then goes bam.
I know, but like the idea that a Christmas tree would be leaving a lot at such breakneck speeds that you couldn't divert, or like the fact that you wouldn't see an exit to a tree lot and like naturally kind of go, like when you see exits to things and you're jogging, you kind of jog around them just in case.
I tried to jog where no one else is around me.
But
to
also,
see me,
are you
to see me
like
struggling?
Yeah, well, me too. But like he's jogging, and like he's not jogging at breakneck speeds that he gets like hit by this tree. But anyway, we're
It's a
suspending
comfortable
disbelief.
pace. It's a comfortable pace, but he's
Suspending disbelief.
But he's done.
He's closed-eyed. He's on the ground. He like no non-compass mentis, and he
She calls 911,
she calls
hangs up on
911.
911, which you're not supposed to do. You
Yeah.
got to stay on until the paramedics get there.
But it's a small town in Colorado, so maybe I don't know. Maybe she called the military ambulance. I have no idea.
Yeah,
But
the CIA disappear you ambulance.
So when he falls, it looks like it's a head injury, but then we later get to the hospital where he has like no family, and she's worried because she's met this little boy earlier and she assumes that's his son, and she's like ruined this child's Christmas. But it turns out it's just like his wrist is broken or something weird.
Yeah, he needs like surgery
And again,
on
I have
his wrist.
no idea how that happens given this fall, because like your wrists aren't up by the tree, and when you fall, like I don't know, but I say that, and I fell once and broke like 9 of my 10 fingers ridiculously. So
And I once
anything can happen.
and I
folks.
once fell and broke my left arm because my dog knocked me off
Yeah.
my feet when I was younger. But the way he falls, it looks
We're
like
just
he
gonna
would be
let
like.
that one go.
But it looks like he falls and like he would have a head injury
Yes.
and like forget who he was.
Or his back or something.
But the reason we find out that his wrist has to have a problem is because he was just about to leave on a ski trip in Aspen.
Yes.
So sad because we're in Colorado, folks. They ski a lot there, so I've been told.
Yes,
and,
they do.
And so now he can't go on a ski trip.
Can't go on a ski trip, but woman and child show up at the hospital, and she immediately assumes that that's his wife, and she immediately clarifies that he is the uncle of this child, and then another man shows up that's her husband. So like her ability to like this human is allowed.
It's freed up because at first they were like, oh no, I gotta take the wife out now, but then it's like, oh no, there's no problem at all.
Right. So he's in the hospital for like a day or two, and it turns out, so he's supposed to go on this ski trip. He can no longer go on the ski trip. He was supposed to leave town. He can no longer leave town because the surgeon wants to follow up with him in a week's time.
Gotta do follow up.
So like he can't even go home, and home for him is in New York, which we'll get to. But so she somehow offers that like he should stay for the holidays and spend time with his sister and his nephew, and he can stay in her guest house.
Yes, because she was renovating it to be an art studio. So it's free. Because you know how you just like you randomly hurt a stranger and then you invite them to live with you. That's like
Right.
a safe thing that people do on the regs.
again, we're suspending disbelief. So we go back to her house, which is massive. It's a massive house, ladies and gentlemen. It's
pretty
got
big.
like multiple bedrooms. It's all white. Like even the floors are white, and it's immaculately decorated, and everything is put perfectly, similar to our house, really, honey.
Pristine. It's a pristine upper middle class kind of
And
house.
she has a guest house. And let's not remember, folks, this is, as is made clear, and we didn't make clear to you all, but she's a divorced woman with a child with a custody fight with her husband, who's since remarried.
Yes, which that
And
is
like,
something I
no
want to
shade
unpack
here,
also.
but like, and apparently she like called for the divorce. So like, again, no shade, but like, how does that woman get like this banging house and guest house and like with enough money to renovate it as an art studio, and the list goes on, and her house is immaculately decorated for the holidays with red, white, and silver, and it's just beautiful. But so he goes into the guest house. He's a bit of a sourpuss. She can't really figure out why.
Yeah, he's like the
And
I'm on the
I'm
he's
moody
like
and
the Hallmark.
mysterious.
Yeah, he's the Hallmark version of like edgy and mysterious. He's like, no, I think typical things that bring people joy. Nah, I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like
right.
holidays or anything. I'm like, meh.
Right, but she somehow the next day, after he sleeps off, his wrist injury and no painkillers on whatever. Anyway, the next day she says she's going to the military base to help out with this kid's party, and did he want to come? And he shockingly shows up. They have this great idea to do a gingerbread house themed party, in which they want to build a giant gingerbread house. And as luck would have it, another How I Met Your Mother flashback, Mr. Ted Mosby in this movie is an architect, a big architect in New York.
Yeah,
worked
hot
for
shot.
a big firm of firmness.
Yeah, so it more or less is it's a Ted Mosby doppelganger. We're really playing
It's
into the
basically
connections
How
here.
I Met Your Mother if the woman wasn't a baker and instead was a painter and lived in Colorado. But
Yeah.
has this beautiful house. But anyway, back to the point. So he sort of begrudgingly chips in to build this gingerbread house. They get this idea to like get the children whose parents are abroad serving the supplies to build their own gingerbread houses that match the places that they're in, and then video into the party. It's all about the party, guys.
Okay, there's a lot that I want to
Oh no,
unpack
I'm just
when
sort
it
of
comes
like
into each. Oh yeah, no, there's a lot that I want to unpack when it comes into each element of this. So as you were saying, first of all, this divorced woman who seemingly would be at fault. I don't know if Colorado's a no fault state or not. Still
she
has
didn't
this
cheat on her husband.
immaculously
She just didn't like him anymore, which happens, I guess.
in fault of, like you were saying, like she sounds like she's the one who initiated it. But she seems to have come out quite rosy as far as like the way this house is set up, which again is set up in that classic Hallmark holiday spirit that you've come to enjoy and know for so many years.
But this is like a slightly more modern version. Like HGTV came in and did the house.
Right. They can't. That would be a good HGTV show.
Tie-in.
Yeah, like either like the Decorate Your House like Hallmark, or the You Just Got Divorced
Right.
and we're setting up.
Right.
Although I feel like that would help. Like that would probably be more help for like the guy who gets divorced, because that's the trope, is that the guy who gets divorced is always in like in a studio apartment with like one working light bulb, and he just moves it from room to room.
So as they're moving towards this party, the guy and the girl become more friendly and more close together, and she's
we're bringing the children Christmas joy. He's building
there's no
this
reason
giant
to not
gingerbread
get, like,
house.
warm and fuzzy together. But he mentions that the reason he got into architecture is because of this one specific architect, and his father used to have a book of his on his coffee table. He can't find the book; it's out of print, and so she goes in search of the book. And while she's doing that, among other errands for the party, she meets up with her friend, who's also a surgeon at the local hospital, as it turns out.
Yes.
And ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to go on
exciting.
about Hallmark woke Christmas, but woke Christmas this year has a lesbian couple.
Yes, her
The
friend the surgeon
lesbians have
is a lesbian.
entered Hallmark land, and it's amazing, but super subtle. So it's
they treat them like actual humans, because I feel like very rarely in movies and TV do you see you don't see a lot of like gay people and straight people being friends, just
Right.
in general. And then you don't see like gay people and straight people going like, oh, she's cute, you should go for it. It's like, oh, I don't know. It's like, no, you definitely got to go for it. You don't see a lot of
Yeah.
that shown in mainstream TV and
No,
movies. I don't
definitely
think.
not. So there's like that B story happening throughout this, and ultimately, spoiler alert, they get together. But the only scene that we see them together in, they're holding hands with a child in between them. So you actually don't see any like flake. Like I guess my as like some older listeners might appreciate, it's like they're just friends. Like
Yes.
you could totally they
the
could have totally
friends.
passed that off to like my grandmother and others who might not see it right away, but anyway, still exciting that it's in a movie. It's a step in the right direction, Hallmark. I
Yeah.
applaud your effort, especially in the military movie of all of them.
Yeah.
And
Hallmark's getting pretty progressive this
so
season.
as this storyline turns out, we find out that Lucas is so grumpy because he was living the fast life in New York.
Doing it.
He was working his Angleside side off on architect
Side.
ASS. That's from math class, guys. That's a math joke from the communications director. And so he's, stressed out. And I honestly, like, personally feel a lot of that too.
As someone tries to call you.
It's okay. I feel the stress of
That was
that
good timing on that.
constantly. Yeah. Well,
Life.
shout out to Local 338. Love you guys. I'll
Well-
answer your call in 1 second.
Represent.
But what was I gonna say? So he's living this fast life in New York, and he's like burnt out, and he basically like goes on a sabbatical, they call it, which is why he's with his sister. But then he's gonna go skiing and continue about his life. But
Yeah, and get back to New York.
right, so their relationship is sort of like growing, I guess. Throughout this, we have an early Hallmark movie kiss,
We
which
do.
is surprising.
We at
45 minutes in.
Yeah, with maybe like another hour or so to go, we get that kiss. But we get it in that classic Hallmark way, which they're on a horse carriage that I think is being pulled by Santa.
Yes,
I seem to-
Santa's driving
I
the,
seem to
the
recall.
carriage because the reindeer are on strike or something. There was an elaborate story
Well,
that did not.
there
need
was a
to
lot
happen.
going on. They couldn't fly, so they had to be on the ground. And the other thing that I really have started to notice over these first, we've watched 6 of these movies now. Even though this is episode 5, the street fair continuously pops up. But what I've started noticing is that each street fair has the same roasted chestnuts cart. That I have seen in every single one. I've started like looking for it, like the same way Alfred Hitchcock always had a little cameo in all of his movies. I'm looking for the roasted chestnuts now on each film.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely like the Christmas carts are all very similarly decorated. I'm pretty sure they just have like 2 versions, like green and red, and they just alternate them depending on the movie. But
Yeah, just to dress it up. And the other great character, because as Chelsea was saying, they're building this giant gingerbread house, and they're trying to find a way to connect the kids that are missing their parents who are stationed abroad together for the holidays. And in order to make that happen, they have to go through this female general who is the classic like humorless, stern
she's amazing,
military woman.
though. Like,
But
I want to be her.
you want to
I want to be like the walk with me because I don't have time to meet with you,
Yeah.
lady.
do an Aaron Sorkin, just the walk with me on my way to this meeting. You want to be that.
Well, that and
Busy.
it's like it's a way to get your steps in, so it's a win-win.
I mean, it is a way to get your steps in. What I want to know, how much business in your life is conducted hastily in between other meetings while walking?
I mean, not a lot in the pandemic, I'll be honest, but
You're not pacing in the kitchen back and forth, just like walk with me, and then you carry.
I
the
mean, I
laptop.
definitely like pace while I'm talking on the phone, though, for sure.
It's a pandemic walk and talk.
Yeah, it's a walk and talk. Yeah, but at the office, I mean, sure, like, yeah, there are definitely like, can I walk you out and have this quick conversation moments? Like that definitely happens. But I don't know. I feel like a general has a lot more going on than I do, or hopefully they do.
I mean, you would hope so. Maybe I guess ideally they don't have a ton going on. There's just regular day-to-day stuff because if they have a lot going on, maybe that's war. I don't know. but so they have to deal with her, but so they have to deal with her at the same time, like making sure that the party is ready
Right.
for the holiday season. But as I'm sure you folks might be able to infer, like it starts to happen. But I feel like there's more turmoil. Our moment of our moment of trouble before everything works out. I think it lasts like a good like 5 minutes.
It was stressful this time,
compared to
guys.
like
So
30 seconds.
at the party, she overhears him talking to a friend of his about plane tickets, and from the bit of it that she hears, and frankly, as an audience member, you don't even hear that much more, but you can sort of infer it.
Right.
She thinks that he's flying home, and he's like not interested in being here. But I have to say, like, for someone to have one kiss with someone and think they're going to uproot their entire lives to come and live with you is also bananas. But I'm just going to let that go for now, because like he has other family there. He was saying he was burnt out. There's other reasons. He talked about wanting to open up, you know, a local architecture firm. Like, this isn't totally out of the realm of possibility, but it is
Yeah.
a little
Well, and also
bit of a stretch.
and also what the architecture that really makes him happy is designing these like houses
homes,
and
yeah.
homes instead of skyscrapers, which is why he loves this architect so much for his house designs.
right.
Which I'm blanking
Which was
on the
also
name, but
true
yeah.
of Ted Mosby's. It's not Frank Lloyd Wright, but it's like another Frank Lloyd Wright.
Are you sure it might not be Frank Lloyd Wright?
It's not. He mentions him, and he's like, but not, you know, as famous. Like someone who actually built houses. And if you guys have never read, there's a book called House, Not the Doctor, and it talks about like how painful it is to put together a house. And I had to read that before my freshman year of college, and it's slow going, folks. But you know, if you really love building houses, it's a great book
Why were
Anyway.
you reading that book?
because it talked about like the passion for building. And I was going to school for technical theater.
So they
And
thought
it was
that.
like the joy of like, you know, the perfect windows and
I see. So you
It's a
so
long
they
ass
were
book.
they were getting you to find joy in your perfection. They were really prepping you for like 14-hour days getting like the set designed correctly.
they were prepping me to switch careers. No, but it's a nice book. It talks about like the passion of being. It takes place in Amherst, Massachusetts. That's besides the point. Anyway, so at this party, the part that she overhears is that he's purchased plane tickets and he's like flying out tomorrow or something. What she doesn't realize is that these are plane tickets for him to go home to pack up his stuff to move here to Colorado. And so she's like becomes very standoffish. A whole like the party happens. It's great. We don't have any sort of emotional like excitement around the party.
Mm-hmm.
The next day comes and he's like, well, I'm leaving and here's your gift. And she's like, well, fine, here's your gift. And her daughter has a gift for him. And he takes
has
off.
a gift for the daughter.
Yeah, he's a gift for the daughter. And he takes off to the airport having like switched his plans, I guess, and a plan to move back to New York all within the course of 12 hours. I don't know how that happens, but
Yeah.
let's pretend. And so he sort of rushes off. She doesn't really understand, and then she opens his gift because her daughter's like, well, I got these game bucks, you should open your gift. Isn't that great, Mom?
Yeah.
She opens it and it's tickets to Paris.
Yeah,
for her and her daughter.
Because she had always wanted to go to Paris and
Yeah,
paint
and
art
her other
paint
husband
landmarks.
like thought that was BS.
Yeah, I gotta say this other husband, you don't see too much of him. Like he seems fine enough on the surface, but when you get into it, like you really learn to not like him. Like he was saying, oh well, I don't like red and silver decorations on the tree, so we're not gonna have red and silver decorations on the tree. Like super controlling ladies. If someone is that controlling, you got to get away from them.
Also, colored lights or bust.
Yes, exactly. This is a point in Chelsea and I's relationship that we agree wholeheartedly on, is that colored lights on a Christmas tree are always preferable to
Bring
just
joy.
plain white lights.
Yeah, and listeners, you can fight us on that.
Yes, and we will win because I'm really big and I will put you in headlock.
If my brother and sister-in-law are listening, you can fight us on the white lights. We're sorry.
No, I still don't agree with you. White lights are boring. Lights are boring. I don't have to be nice. But so they realize and then we cut to our lead actor and his
he's
best
in the
friend
car and
going to the airport.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I guess you're going back to that New York life after all." And he's like, "Aren't you going to open the gift?" And so he does, and it's the book.
Yeah.
The book of the architect that he can't find. She
like the Death Cab for Cutie of architects. Like super.
Yeah, she called like a million different booksellers who then called a million different booksellers and they tracked it down magically. Also, can we like pause for a second and talk about how her plane tickets are like magically open-ended for her and her daughter? And I don't think that happens in 2020, but gonna let it slide. And so he comes rushing back and he's like, "You got the book." And she's like, "But you're leaving." And he's like, "No, I was leaving to get my stuff to open up an architecture firm here." And she's like, "Oh my God." And then there's lots of smooches. Now, folks, we counted 4 smooches in this movie. And typically
I think
there's
that
only
might be
2.
Christmas with the Darlings, I thought.
That might be. Sorry, we're reviewing that next, guys.
That's
we watched
the
them back
with,
to back.
That's the movie with 3 kisses. But I do think we get one more kiss.
We get one more kiss.
We get a 2 kiss, which is, quite
a double kiss. Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. Spoiler alert on the Darlings.
But we'll get it because the number of kissing is a fascinating
and we really
topic.
meant to research before this episode, but maybe we can before the next one, of like how many kisses are allowed in a G-rated movie, because all the Hallmark Christmas movies are G-rated, and so there must be a reason why.
Yeah. And is TV G different from movie theater G? Like, I'm curious.
I'm not sure. I think they're similar, but I think they are slightly different for sure.
Yeah, because and again, the standard for American movies when it comes to like sex and intimacy is vastly different than it is in America, because I watched Mufasa get killed
murdered
in The Lion King in a TV G movie. Well, that's why I still will not watch the remake, because it upset me so much as a kid.
It's okay. I'll watch The Lion King with our future children. It's fine.
But conversely, but in Europe, you can have a lot more sexy stuff compared to violent stuff.
That's my husband, folks. Sexy stuff.
Yeah.
So with that, Will, how would you think this movie rates?
Well, gosh, I mean, for me, the highlight of this film for me is Ashley Williams, because I loved her on that run on How I Met Your Mother. So she's like very charming. I feel like she's the emotional kind of like grounding and heart for it. So,
and the daughter, I like the daughter too.
Yeah, they have a nice, fun back and forth. I'm gonna say carried solely, like, again, this doesn't rank as like one of my favorites, but it is up there. I give it like maybe like a 3.75, like almost a 4.
3.75. I would give it a 4.
You give it a 4?
Well, we moved Jingle Bell Bride up to 4.5.
That is still the one to beat.
That's still the one to beat. Yeah.
And this was directed by the same director.
But this comes very close. I think what the hang up for me is that our male protagonist, his name's Lucas, right? Lucas. I'm bad with the names, guys. It's like there's a man and a woman.
Yeah, brooding, broken wrist guy.
He was like too grumpy.
Yeah, and this is like even by Hallmark standards.
So at the beginning, and I just didn't find that, like, it wasn't cute grumpy. It was just grumpy, and you don't find out why until way too late into the movie. And so I think like that would have kicked it into 4.5 territory for me. I loved the house and the set. It was beautiful. There was lots of cocoa.
Oh yes, lots of cocoa.
Love cocoa.
A lot of cocoa on this one.
But I thought it was really good, and I am excited to review The Darlings next, Christmas with the Darlings, and we have 2 new premieres every single week for you on Wednesdays and Saturday mornings, and you can check them out on Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts. And please follow us on the Gram and the Twitter and the Facebook, Hallmark After Show 2020 or Hallmark Pod on Twitter. And yeah, I think that's it. I just wrapped up the show without you. I'm sorry, dear.
Yeah,
you
were just kind of like, yeah, I'm done with you. I got this. Yeah, pretty much. I would say, pretty much. Yeah, I would say the lead carries it for me. The male protagonist, he is kind of a Grumposaurus Rex, but there's a lot of charm in this flick, and yes, follow us on all the socials. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well, and
but listen on Stitcher.
Yeah.
Just because I'm obnoxious.
And thank you.
I'm a stage mom, guys.
And you're so encouraging. I feel very supported and encouraged in this endeavor, dear. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you again soon for episode 6 and Christmas with the Darlings.
With the darlings.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.